Welcome to the Spring 2024 New Jersey Film Festival Filmmaker Interview Q&A series. Today we have a wonderful filmmaker from Prague at the Czech Republic, and she's going to be talking about our amazing animation, Electra. And we also have one of the festival judges, Anita LaBelle, here, and she's going to be helping me ask Daria. I have to always remember how to pronounce her name, Kashcheeva.
Yeah, that's right.
Daria Kashcheeva, and I've known Daria, at least her work, for 4 years, and we've corresponded by email over the last 4 years. We're Facebook friends, but this is the first time I've actually gotten to see her and talk to her face to face, and that's the wonderful thing about Zoom. But folks, we have a festival, our 42nd annual biannual New Jersey Film Festival will be taking place between January 26th and February 18th on weekends. And there will be a variety of films. Over 40 films will be screening from around the world, including Daria's. And if you'd like to get tickets and stuff, stick around at the end of the Q&A. I'll show you how you can do that. But if you want to know our web address, it's njfilmfest.com. Click on current events, and then make sure you push the red button for the Spring 2024 New Jersey Film Festival. All right, well, let's see. Daria's film, Electra, is probably the longest film I think that you've made, correct?
Yeah.
I believe so. But what I wanted to say is we actually screened Daria's film Daughter, which was a student production that she made, a wonderful animation film that won an honorable mention award. And now she's back with her latest film, which played at Cannes, a variety of other notable festivals around Europe. And I guess my first question to you is, your first film, Daughter, focused on father-daughter relationships, and Electra also deals with the theme of family. So can you tell us how you came about making this film?
Well, actually, why it is always about family. I think like the biggest inspiration for me, like for my work as an artist, is always psychology and psychoanalysis, and it's always like psychoanalysis, Freud's psychoanalysis finds roots in childhood and in relationships and family, which could influence a person for a whole life. Because it's always interesting for me, I think I somehow unconsciously always go to this topic. And with Electra, actually with Daughter, it was my own kind of story, inspired at least by my own story and my own experiences with my parents. But for Electra, it was completely fiction. And actually, I didn't start from the story when I started to develop the project. I started the development from the technique. After Daughter, where I worked with the puppets, I decided that I really want to try to work with actors in animation. So I started to think, what could I do with actors? What could I do with this material as skin and body? I came to the idea of a topic of body perception and sexuality, I think maybe 1 year of thinking about the script and developing the script. It was around the topic of body perception and stuff, and I was a bit lost because I didn't have a story. And after a while, I found a book which the main topic of the book was Electra complex in modern society, and this book inspired me a lot, and it somehow get connected with all this kind of images and research I had thinking about the animating of human body. So it somehow connected, I think, really 1 year after I started to think about the project. I found a big inspiration in the Electra complex and the myth of Electra, which Carl Gustav Jung uses explanation of the Electra complex. And I found really a lot of inspiring things, and I think a lot of things which still resonates today, even though these myths are really, really old. But I think they're really genius because they are always relevant. So yeah, it was like this, and Electra complex is a topic which is a lot about family and about relationships between daughter and mother and daughter and father. It's not only about relationship with father, but it's a lot about this kind of competition between mother and daughter for the father's attention, and perception of womanhood and all this stuff. So it's really complex, and that's why it was really inspiring for me. Oh, I don't hear you.
Muted myself
Yeah.
because there was some feedback. Anita, you get to ask the next question.
I know that the process for shooting the film took 95 days, and I'm sure there was many, many more days spent in the editing room, which makes complete sense because the film looks incredible. But I was wondering if you could talk more about the actual process of using the pixelation technique and doing animation with humans and puppets, and how you came to get to that idea, and also how it was actually shooting that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because before we started shooting, we understood that we know nothing actually about the process of animating human body. And also it was a big challenge for cinematographer Tamas Ferkal, because before he started to work with me, he worked mostly on live action and documentary films, and he knew nothing about camera and animation. And we had a great possibility from school. Before we start the real shooting, 2 years actually before we had the production planned, we had 2 months in a studio just to make tests, to experiment, to understand what the technique is about. So we spent really 2 months making tests. I already had a script written, so I've chosen some scenes which I felt would be challenging in terms of technique and working with materials. So this test really helped us. And after we shot this, we made a teaser which we presented on different film forums and pitching forums, and it was also really helpful to get feedback. And we found some co-production in France and Slovakia, which was really helpful later in the production. So actually, the biggest problem we had to solve was that what is the difference between body and puppet, that puppets could wait for you and they could stay still for one night or how long you need it. But actors, like human body never is still, even though you are kind of really rigged and you are sitting and you lean on something, your blood is going in your body, you are breathing. So it was the biggest problem for us to solve this, to make body as much as possible still, even though I like this kind of small shaking of the body because it gives you nervosity, which I wanted, and it fit to the topic. But during the tests and later after it, in the pre-production phase, we developed a system of rigs which helped us to stabilize body as much as possible. So actor had support on the head, on the neck, on the shoulders, and on back, everywhere, to keep actors comfortable, to stay as much as possible in one position. And also we understood that before we really start to work, to animate around actors or with actors, we have to prepare everything really good for the animation itself is really fast, and we needed animation assistants to make everything as fast as possible. So these tests really helped us. And yes, and what was really important also, we had 4.5 months in the studio for shooting, but it's not enough for 27 minutes long animation film. So I understood that I have to have 2 sets at the same time in the studios, so we could animate at the same time on 2 places and to make kind of twice work and twice faster. So I understood that I couldn't animate by myself. I need animators, and I have to run between 2 sets. And I also understood that I have to have really good guidance for them, for they exactly know what to do. So I spent quite a lot of time before the production on making storyboard and really well prepared animatic. And with editor, actually, we worked really a lot on animatic before the production. So actually, the film was actually ready before we started to shoot it. And after we shot it, we didn't change too much in editing room actually. So we changed a bit structure, but in terms of timing, it was almost the same like it was in animatic. So actually the biggest work with the editor was done before we started shooting. Yeah, so yeah.
Such an it's an intense process. I mean, to do animation is there's so much, you have to keep your hands on so many different things. And
yeah.
I wondered if you're a fan of Jan Svankmayer's
of course
animated films.
Yeah, even though I didn't have his work as a reference for Electra, but for sure I know his work, and I love what he did, and I think I have it under my skin. So
you could tell.
Yes,
but I think you give it a different flavor being a woman, because Svankmayer's films are very male,
Yes,
and
exactly.
I also wonder, did you ever see the movie Dreams That Money Can Buy? It's a Hans Richter film from 1946. I recommend it to you because there is a section that deals with mannequins.
Oh, okay.
I
write it down.
It's shot on film, and it's not, the animation is not that good, but it's a very interesting story that I think you would find fascinating, because I teach it in one of my classes, and a lot of people don't know this film. It was with Marcel Duchamp and Max Ernst, and it's a kind of neo-surrealist film that was made in 1946. So anyway, I can send you the link so you can check it out.
Okay, thank you.
I just thought of that as we were talking. But anyway, my next question for you is that when you were working on this film, did you recognize that there might be a backlash that would come from the audience? I can read you some of the comments from my judges, okay?
But could I ask you, what is a backlash? I don't know this word.
A backlash is like people that didn't like your film, that didn't like your film. I mean, the majority of our judges, and I will send you the judges' comments so you can read them. That one person wrote powerful, another person wrote distinct and unique. Another person wrote very entertaining, but one of them wrote, although the experimental creativity was evident, she didn't like it and felt very uncomfortable. And she goes on to think about the relationship between the daughter and the father, and it made her feel a little queasy. Is that, you've been showing this film at festivals, do you get a little bit of that? Or, I mean, the majority of people must love your film, right?
Yes, that's true. And actually, I got this, it's not like people, when they don't like this film or felt it uncomfortable, talk to me like directly, but from other people I heard that quite a lot of people find it uncomfortable, and this is really right word, I think. And I actually was thinking about this while I was preparing this film, and while I was shooting, I understood it's going to be uncomfortable, but I was a bit afraid of this, how viewers would perceive it. But the main idea for me is that Electra complex and psychoanalysis have like big deal with subconscious, which could be uncomfortable to go deep to your subconscious, because there are a lot of suppressed feelings or memories could be in your subconscious, and maybe fantasies you don't really like, and maybe some things which are not so acceptable in society, but it's still I think it's really important to know this part of less, like, kind of your shadow of yourself, because each of us has these shadows, and it's really important to know them and to look at them to become whole person, because it's like it's a big interesting topic about shadow and persona. Yeah. And it's really well known in psychoanalysis and Jung's theory. And so I was conscious about it. It could be uncomfortable, and I'm happy that it is. And I'm happy that film evokes really different feelings in audience. And I really like this. And I really like, as a viewer, I also like to watch films which might be uncomfortable and which might make me feel maybe it's not so acceptable, but to get to know these shadows of myself, which could be disturbing, it's very interesting.
Yeah, we call it the dark side. You
Yeah,
know, in
yes.
Star Wars, we all have our dark side, and so
yeah,
I think it's important to underscore that. And I think people who just want nice movies, that's not really what we want to show. We want to show movies that challenge and question, and I think your film does that really wonderfully. Anita, I'm sorry, go ahead, Daria.
Yeah, I also wanted to tell that I remember some movies which I perceived really uncomfortable, and at the moment when I watched them, I told myself, my God, no. But later, like when I get to know myself better, I understood, well, it's not so kind of bad thing maybe to talk about. So I think this it's maybe uncomfortable now for someone, but it opens the door to the room which there is a sign "Do not enter," and this room in my film has really big role. Yeah.
Beautiful. Go ahead, Anita. Your turn.
I saw a video of you giving a speech, and you described cinemas or movie theaters as a cave where audience we can get closer to our subconscious, which you were just talking about. I certainly felt that with this film. I used to have nightmares about mannequins as a child, and when I first watched Electra, I found myself like remembering all these nightmares, and I was like, oh my gosh, like forgot that I had all these fears about mannequins. So I completely agree that cinemas bring us closer to our subconscious. But what do you think it is about the movie theater that allows for this connection to our dreams, our memories, our subconscious?
Well, now I'm working on my next project, which is going to be a feature film. And it's very interesting experience that I allowed myself, writing the script to dream more and to use my fantasy to write it. And this work allowed me to get to know myself better. So as an artist, it's kind of introduction to myself, and I think it also could be for viewers introduction to their fantasies and dreams. And I think it's very interesting because in film, like how I don't know exactly how we call it, but Hollywood sells dreams.
Yeah.
And
Dream Factory.
Dream Factory. And it could sound also kind of a bit maybe stupid, but it also could sound really, really challenging and very kind of interesting, because when you are in the movie, when you are in this dark place, you allow yourself to experience experiences that you can't allow yourself to experience in your life for example, you know, love and maybe, I don't know, unusual sex, or maybe you could allow yourself to kill someone when you are connected to a monster in the movie, and you experience these things which are not allowed for you in your life, and you get this energy out, and then you are kind of you go home and you are happy, you experience something unusual, and it fulfills you. So I think this how movie works, and it also works for me as a scriptwriter. I experience and allow myself experience something which I would maybe not allow myself to experience in life.
What's the new film about?
Well, and now I'm very interested in the topic of gender, and in perspective is that I don't really think that there is one or two, or not one, two or three or more genders, but I think it should be a wise diverse, and I understand that it's a problem for society, because for society and for system you need to have these boxes, but I think it could be harmful for individuals who doesn't fit to the box, and this is very inspiring topic for me now. This kind of, if we could allow ourselves to experience this fluidity maybe, and this, yeah. So this is the topic. I'm in the very beginning. I'm now writing the treatment, but I'm very inspired by this.
We're very excited, and we look forward to seeing it when it's done, for sure. Anita, we have time for one more question, Anita, from you.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned gender, because I agree that it can often be very limiting, and I feel that whenever somebody who's not a man makes a film, the question of gaze is always brought up, of how do you not subscribe to the male gaze? How do you make things that's not for men? And I struggle with this question, because it's how can you say that something I've made is immediately for men? So it's something that I was wondering, as you approach your movies, do you think about the male gaze and what gaze you put on, or is it something that you don't think about, people try to force onto you? I was just curious your thoughts.
Now, as I told, now I'm in the very beginning, and now I have a kind of idea of a form for to talk about this topic, and the form is dystopia, where everybody has only one sex and one gender. And people in this system and this dystopia experience, okay, maybe I'm not so fit to this one gender, and I'm trying to understand how different individuals could feel in this kind of system. And I think a lot about individuals who couldn't really describe their feelings and their, kind of, if I'm fit to this box or this box, and if I'm gay, or if I'm kind of, like, I think always like making this kind of boxes and definitions could be really harmful. Sometimes you always like, oh, okay, I think I fit to this box, and maybe a bit later you understand, or maybe not, maybe it was really harmful for me, to understand I'm gay, or I'm trans, or I'm they or she or her, maybe I'm somewhere in between. And I think this is very important, to perceive each person as an individual, and also fluent, because it was always a problem for me. For example, when I was a child, and or maybe when I also became older, my parents told me, so decide decide, do you eat sugar or not? Well, okay, yesterday I ate sugar, now no. So this kind of decide for the whole life, who are you? And I think it's like, come on. So yeah.
People evolve. The young people that I see, they they call themselves non-binary, so they
Yes,
don't want to be defined by their gender. They want
but
to
this
be
is also definition. This
Yes,
is
of course.
already a box. Non-binary, it's a box. And I think
Yeah.
it become a problem as well. So yeah.
I agree. I think that part of the human life is that you change constantly. So I like that, and that's why I liked the film as well, because we see Electra going through this birthday memory, and she starts changing, and that's why I love the way you used hair, because you have this blonde hair, and then she cuts bangs, and then when we meet Electra at the end, completely bald. So I thought it was
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a wonderful film, and I wanted to just let folks know that we'll be showing this as part of a group of shorts, and it's our shorts program #1, and it will be taking place on Saturday, January 27th. Our festival is a hybrid. You know, because of COVID, we had to go online for
Yeah.
almost 2 years, and so we showed films that way, and we developed a new audience, and so we didn't want to turn off the opportunity for the people who have stayed with us. So we show online for 24 hours on the show date. And then there's an in-person show on the big screen. Your film will look great on our screen. And so that will be on Saturday, January 27th. The in-person screening is at 7 p.m. and it's with a block of shorts. And what I'd like to do is share screen for a second so everybody can see how they can get to our festival in one way or another. This is our normal homepage, and normally everything would be here, but since COVID, we've been working with Eventive, who streams for Sundance Film Festival and major distributors. So when you get to our homepage, you just click on current events, and you get to see my old cat, Miss Amy, who passed away. So we're paying tribute to her as part of the festival art. So when you get here, this gives you general information, but make sure you click this button, which sends you to our welcome page. And on the welcome page, it gives you more information about how much tickets are and sponsors and things like that. And then you also have these 4 buttons at the top. And in order to buy tickets, you click the ticket screening button. And there you can see the same image that's behind me, which is from Electra, is where you can click on this where it says pre-order now, and you can buy tickets. Tickets are $15 per program. If you like our festival and want to watch everything, then I highly recommend you buy an all-access pass, which is $100. And it's basically half price. So it's a really great deal. And you can always go to the menu side and see our schedule, which is very linear. People who like to just see big pictures and the descriptions this way, they can scroll down and see that Electra is the last film we'll show on that evening, with a bunch of other shorts that are very interesting. Most of them are experimental, animation ones as well. So let's just see, you go back to the welcome page, you want to go to the film guide, you can get information about each and every film, and there's descriptions, and you can also buy tickets from this link as well. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm really just so happy that I got to meet you. And I've been a fan of your work since Daughter. And I remember that year we had so many really wonderful animation films. And I scored your film as the one I wanted to win, but I'm just one judge. And so that just barely missed getting best animated film. So. But I'm sure that there's a really great chance that you'll win Best Animated Film at our festival this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you. Daria, stick around after we end the recording, and Anita, you too. But thank you so much, folks, for watching. And we hope to see you at the New Jersey Film Festival starting in January. Have a great day.